Welcome to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Namofsky. A will and the appointment of executors are absolutely essential when someone dies. They ensure your wishes are honored. Wills are vital for everyone, regardless of your wealth, because without one, the courts will decide who inherits your property and who looks after your dependents, including your pets, often leading to unnecessary stress, costs, and uncertainty for those you leave behind. Today, I want to start a movement encouraging pet rescues and pet shelters to ask adopters if they plan to include their pets in their wills and set aside funds for their care after death. I also want to promote the idea that people should discuss caring for their pets with their estate lawyers and making formal arrangements to ensure their pets' well-being when they die. Today, I'm joined by Barb Amsden. She's a consumer advocate and the author of How to Laugh at Death and Taxes, What Executors, Will Makers, Heirs, and Beneficiaries Need to Know, and Cheryl Maloney, an investment advisor and certified executor advisor at Caldwell Securities Ltd. Ladies, welcome to Empowered. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Liz.
So you've both been here before, but I thought this was super, super important, and I wanted to have you back again, and I want to talk about wills and estates and pets. So Cheryl, let's begin with you. What specifically is an executor, and what does an executor do?
Well, an executor, otherwise known as an estate trustee or estate administrator, is a person named in a will who's going to make sure that the instructions in the will are properly followed. If you're like 90% of Canadians over the age of 45, you're probably going to ask a family member or a trusted friend to settle your estate. And this position has traditionally been seen as a position of honor and trust. And you usually accept it out of a sense of moral obligation to the person who asked you. And when you look at what an executor has to do, it really starts with, for example, arranging the funeral. That's one of their first tasks. You have to, of course, get the will probated, protect and secure the assets of the estate, and also locate assets that are in the will in case they're not easily found. You have to communicate with the beneficiaries. You have to do a whole bunch of accounting, everything from settling debts, finding receivables, paying taxes, filing tax returns, and of course, distributing the assets to the heirs and the beneficiaries, and doing a final accounting of all the estate documents that you've been dealing with. And when you look at the tasks altogether, they have to be done, and they can equal up to, say, 90 to 100 tasks that the executor has to do. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Now, Barb, I want to bring you in too. Your book has been out for a year, and I can see through your newsletter and all your social media posts that you're both harping on old points and hammering home new ones. Are people slow to heed the wake-up call?
Well, I think it's fair to say that young people think they've got all the time in the world. Older people think that they'll have enough time left, but maybe they don't. And then there's the rest of us who are in between, realizing, I've got to get to that will, I've got to get to updating it. And then we just lose ourselves and not have time. So I'm hoping that some of the stories that Cheryl and I covered today and that you mentioned will get some people moving on it now. It's so important.
I hope so too. So let's talk about one huge case that just came out. One of the best known cases right now that we've talked about was Gene Hackman. Let's talk about that.
So Gene Hackman, Academy Award winner, and is best known for some of his tough guy roles, a policeman in The French Connection, and then as Lex Luthor in Batman. However, even he comes to the end of his strength, and he's very frail. And so at 95, he and his wife, who was 65, died just in February, just a couple of days apart. And what this case tells us is it's a bit of a surprise, which is probably because his wife was 30 years younger than him. His will simply gave everything to her. But it turns out that his wife had died before he did. Their bodies weren't found for some time. And therefore, everything she had went to him. But he had not made plans for what happened if his wife died first. So the real message here is everybody has to check their wills to make sure they work whichever of a spouse dies first.
You know, and this is very important. A lot of people don't even think about that. And you've got to have a backup. A backup is very, very important in your will. Not only do you have to have an executor that you know will be able to carry on all the work that you need, but you also have to have backup people in case your executor or the person that you've put all of your money towards does die. So please don't go away. When you come back, we'll be right back with more important details about wills.